We are here on Miwok and Paiute ancestral land in Yosemite West with Jon and Jess Glassberg, who are in town from Boulder, Colorado. Jess, you are a cinematographer, photographer, photo historian with a doctoral degree in visual arts and culture from University of Paris. Jon, you are founder and director at Louder Than 11, and you've been a professional climber for almost 30 years and have climbed up to 514 and V15 around the world. Thank you both so much for having us. I'm really excited to talk to you today about parenting and climbing.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's exciting.
Your experience is unique because you are parents to twins.
Yes.
Cannot imagine finding out I'm having twins. What was that moment like for you both?
Shocking.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened?
I was crying and Jon
I think she blacked out.
Yeah.
She blacked out, and then I think she came to seconds later and demanded that they check again because we couldn't imagine that scenario could be happening.
I asked her to check again because I was like, I realized that there was a possibility of there being like 3 or something too.
And then she noticed, I think the doctor noticed that we were going through it emotionally, and she was like, do you guys need a minute? Like, do you need a glass of wine? Do you want to like talk about it? Meanwhile, we're like in blackout mode, crying, freaking out.
I was in shock for like a week. I just kind of like, I don't know, we don't have twins in our families. Like, we're just normal people.
Weren't expecting it at all.
And so now I just tell people like, it could happen to anyone.
After 2 years of parenthood, at this point, what would you tell parents who just found out they're having twins?
Prepare to have your whole world rocked.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no sugarcoating
like,
it.
you need to have some, I mean, our neighbors across, there's like 5 sets of twins on our street. I don't know. I've just been like slowly like giving them little hints of like, because like we had Jon's mom live with us for 6 weeks, and that was like really, really crucial for us.
What does your childcare look like now?
We have an au pair. We got an au pair that lives with us, travels with us at about like 7 weeks.
7 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So we were able to get one like really quickly. And especially if you travel at all, it's kind of like, I think it's the only option. And especially if you have space in your house to have someone live with you.
Or depending on your financial situation, you could have a full-time nanny, but they're much more expensive and come with different sets of logistics, similar to an au pair would.
I agree. There's pros and cons. My son started daycare outside of the home shortly after he turned 2. And I was happy that I was able to keep him home for the first 2 years, which was a stretch. We really had to work to do that. Jess, postpartum, how was your postpartum recovery?
Physically, I'm like, I always am wondering if everything's like put back in there normal. I'm like, sometimes I feel like things are off and I'm like, oh, I wonder if like everything's kind of scarred back together weird. And so that's why I feel weird. And like, just because I didn't have a vaginal birth, I still had like pelvic floor issues. So like climbing for the next year was really difficult because it was only something that would happen with climbing where if I was like trying really hard, where I'm like using my toes and my whole body, that I would get like shooting pains in like my pelvic floor. Yeah, it eventually went away, but it's just like, I just couldn't even try hard. It was like super painful to try hard for like close to a year, I would say. So.
Well, you were also breastfeeding for a long part of that time too. And like your whole diet changed and your whole lifestyle changed. You weren't sleeping at all. Like, it's like all the like, everything gets piled on top of like also trying to recover from a massive surgery. And like, on top of that, you have all these changes to your body. I mean, it's just like a lot.
I know. I kind of forgot about it all now.
It's easy to forget.
Deleted it from my brain.
I really wanted to keep climbing a part of my family life, and I wanted to expose my toddler to Yosemite and my former lifestyle. I thought there would be a benefit for him to that. Do you feel the same way as far as the benefit of including your kids in the lifestyle that's around climbing?
Well, we definitely see just like as soon as they walk outside, they're different babies. Like they're different outside than they are inside. And that's like instantly obvious as soon as it happens. And then like if we take them into the boulders or if we, you know, go climbing with them and they get to dangle on a rope or whatever, interact with other kids at the cliff. Like, you can just tell they're having the best time and they're like really engaged, and you can tell that they're like alert and into it and excited, and you can just tell that it's like a great place for them to grow up in that type of environment.
Yeah, there's like a huge benefit, I feel like, to our lifestyle being outside, lost in the forest a lot. You know, that's really great for them. And so far, honestly, with twins, like, it's not like we're always out doing that with them. Like, but when we do get to, it's like, it's amazing. It's the best time. Yeah, it's really important. Greta is also really good at bouldering already.
Yeah, we built a spray wall. We have a spray wall in our house.
A baby spray wall.
We have we call it the baby spray. And it's like a little climbing wall in our living room, and they just rage on it all day long. So it's amazing. Yeah. And they like Greta has like skills. Like she can she looks cool when she climbs. Like you're like, whoa, that's like a climbing move. Like she goes she'll like kick a foot out and like swing around, and you're like, wow, Greta, cool. Goldie's like not quite there yet, but
she's more of a sport climber.
She's a sport climber, I think. Yeah. Greta's the boulderer.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the inherent risks with climbing? One thing my partner and I really struggle with in Yosemite is rock fall danger. And it just like really limits where we can take our toddler. Has that shifted for you in what you're pursuing?
Oh yeah, I think we're definitely safer now. I mean, I'm definitely more conscious of what I do. Like I'll top rope a high ball now instead of free soloing it or whatever. But I mean, we were just out at Pat and Jack the other day, and like we brought the girls there. They didn't have helmets. And the whole time I was there, I was just thinking,
like, this is a bad idea.
This is dumb. Yeah, we totally should have helmets. And we will from now on. But like we didn't then, and I was just like hyper aware that, you know, even a small pebble would destroy them. So we're like, okay, we can't really be doing this.
Yeah, I guess my feeling, I don't know. I just feel like it evolves a lot, but we have help. And so we definitely see the best way to go climbing as like the kids stay safe at home while we go out climbing, because
it's our time.
Yeah, because also I just think that kids, like babies, don't belong at the crack. Like, yeah, they liked going up on a rope and they love climbing, and we kind of let them climb a little bit, but
unless you don't have a choice.
It just feels kind of sketch to me, honestly.
You've traveled quite a bit with the girls. Most recently, I think you were in Europe together as a family. How did that trip go?
It was awesome, actually. I mean, it was very hard. Top line, very hard. But we had like a 9-passenger van, and we drove all around Europe. We went from France through Italy into Slovenia. We went through Austria, Germany, Switzerland. It was like a crazy road trip. We were following an athlete making a film. And we were also like checking in and out of Airbnbs sometimes every day.
Do you have any tips or tricks for logistical itinerary planning, or even just packing, anything for parents with young kids who are traveling?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need a lot of stuff. You think you do, but you don't. Especially with one kid, you definitely don't need that much stuff. But like, you choose your Airbnbs that are usually one story and usually ground level entry. You have their own bedroom for them if you can afford it, an extra bedroom that's separate that you can close off. You try to make their little like sleep environment like exactly or as close to as you can to their environment at home. And I don't know, we kind of found like a limit as a 2-year-old for driving. They could only kind of handle 4 or 5 hours before they were like, we're not driving anymore. And then the driving's done.
Yeah.
And you just have to take breaks and get creative with naps. And like, I don't know, we just kind of like, we just realized like we're doing this no matter what. So we might as well just like go for it.
One of our kids is very, very attached to her stuffed animal, and she secretly opened a drawer and like put it in a drawer right before we were leaving an Airbnb in Slovenia. It's very specific where, you know, it has like a hole that she likes that she like rubs to like go to sleep. And so we had to have it like, we had to go buy another like replacement immediately. And then we had it like mailed to our next Airbnb, or future Airbnb in France that we were going to be in. And we like got it back, but like
wasn't the same.
Yeah. Like, and I feel like what we've learned in the last 6 months is like from 1 month to the next, it can completely change what they can handle and how good they're going to travel. Like a month ago, they were horrible. Like they were like screaming and crying all the time. And like last week they were really good. And it was a kind of short trip. But I don't know. I just feel like you just never know 3 months in the future, they're going to be different kids and you don't know what it's going to be like. So that kind of like ignorance is something we kind of bank on where we're like, well, we'll see what it's like this time because it's just going to be different than the last time.
And don't worry about what people think about what your situation is. Like, you're going to be a total shit show and that's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, nobody really cares. Like, a couple times, like, of all the trips we've ever done, people have like glared at us or been like kind of like grumbling. But like, for the most part, it's fine. Like, people just put their headphones on and they deal. That's part of the process. People
being on an airplane next to people.
Yeah, they just deal. And like, you know, when you're in the airport and you've got 9, like, I mean, we routinely check 9 or 10 bags, and like we're like a total disaster in the airport every time, and that's just like part of the deal.
Jon, do you have any climbing projects right now?
No. I mean, I'd like to stay in general shape. That is kind of my goal right now.
How are you doing that?
I mean, when we're home, I'll do, you know, like my 2-3 days in the gym. If I can get a couple hours per session, that's enough to maintain a base level that I'm comfortable with. I feel like it's super important for me to have like a certain level of climbing performance when I'm out shooting with pro climbers, and also being able to like hang in challenging environments, like doing big wall shooting, like being around like shoots all day long. Whether it's indoors, outdoors, climbing, whatever, like you just have to have some stamina and having some general fitness. So that's like a good baseline. I travel with a hangboard. I hangboard as much as I can. And like try to squeeze in like little bouldering sessions here and there when we're on trips if we can.
Have you seen an evolution to your motivation? Because I kind of feel at this point, at 3 years, it's a bit of a marathon. And like the motivation I had when I finally recovered and like wanted to be back in shape, like it's harder to keep it going when it's like, oh, like this is my life forever now. And I'm always going to have to work my job, which is pretty demanding, and like try to have personal passion and show up for my son, you know? Have you noticed an evolution to your motivation to stay in shape, or has that been a challenge?
Well, it was easier at first, actually. I mean, despite the sleep loss and sleep deprivation at the beginning, it was way easier because the kids couldn't go anywhere. They were just blobs, and they would lay on the ground, or we'd even take them to the gym and they would just lay on the ground at the gym and, you know, goo goo gaga on the ground while we climbed. But now it's gotten like way harder because they're like mobile. They need a lot more attention. They're awake a lot longer. We only have so much time that we can have our au pair watching the girls and like really get away. So I don't know. It's just like a time management thing. If I'm working out, that's usually during like a time that, you know, we're working or like the au pair is working. So it would mean like time away, but that Jess would have to spend apart. I don't know. Just like, I think climbing has become less of like something that we do together and more of something that like we try to squeeze in just to maintain for now with the hope that something good will happen eventually. I think.
We're always swapping out on each other. So like if there was childcare at the climbing gym, that would be so perfect for us because we're like, oh, our kids are finally at an age where they could like socialize with some other kids, which, you know, they don't go to daycare, so they don't do that a lot. And so that would be ideal for us, but like that doesn't exist in our gym anymore. And so we generally have to like go one or the other, or maybe we schedule it as like kind of like a day date and we like take time out of work to go climbing together. And
I think there's criticism too, coming back to kids at the crag, around like your footprint. And so if you were going to go to the crag as a family and have toys or whatever you need for the kids, it's hard to kind of contain all of that.
Yeah, but dogs are way worse.
Oh. Nice.
Dogs are getting in fights with each other and they're like digging holes in the ground way bigger than the holes our kids are digging.
You haven't met my 3-year-old.
Maybe they're comparable to dogs. So people with dogs, people with babies. Yeah.
Oh, man. Sounds like you all are crushing it with everything you're doing, honestly. What is next? What's on the horizon? What are you excited about?
We alluded to it earlier, but we're like in the final stages of making a feature documentary, which is huge and something new territory for us completely. I mean, I'm excited to like find some rhythm with our kids where they sleep and take care of themselves a little bit more, and we can like have our time back a little bit. I think just finding time is like our main priority right now because we're right in the middle of like by far the worst phase that we've ever had to deal with. So
yeah, I feel like we just got to 2 years and now we're like need to rush and like fit in as much as we can before they're of school age, and then we have to figure out how to balance that with our current lifestyle.
Is there anything else you want to add? Any wisdom or just any commentary about the community? Anything?
I think if you're expecting to have twins and you feel like your life is about to be over, I mean, it's about to change forever, for sure, in a way that you couldn't even imagine. But there are tons of like twin groups out there and like twin people that have had this experience that can really help a lot. And
I did have something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, I think that like one potentially like nice thing for us that we're kind of fortunate with is that like we knew off the bat, like we're having twins, we both have to work, we have to have full-time help. There's no other way. Like it is super necessary for us to have that, and it is a nice thing that we just like knew off the bat, like we're going to do this. And it's like nice to like remind people like, okay, you might just have to like commit to doing that immediately, and that's okay. Like,
I think that because of your 0 to 2 experience, you have a lot of unique wisdom for new parents, and I'm really grateful you made the time for us today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been just awesome dropping in on you all.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's fun to talk about it.
Yeah.
And we are always talking about this with everyone now because we are like the freak show on display with our crazy scenario of twins, and I think people are really curious about it. Like they can't even imagine what it's like.
yeah. But
And they shouldn't.
Yeah. It's like crazier than it seems, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Yeah. Have it? There you go. Good job.
Stand. Stand, balance. Again?